Hello friends, today we want to talk about meaning. During my time as a psychotherapist, I have used many methods, studied and worked with many clients. I have come to the conclusion that mental disorders arise from the smallest part of the conscious mind, which is meaning. You see, a disorder occurs when there is a system. Now, how does this system work? This system works based on a set of information. Information that is ultimately loaded into the brain's processing system. When the amount of this information increases, we try to draw a conclusion from it, which is called meaning. And these meanings play the main role in our thoughts. Because we cannot keep a lot of information in detail in our minds. But we can keep meanings. With this continuity of meanings, a main meaning or core belief is formed in us, which is our ideology or worldview, our view of ourselves and the world as a whole. And this is where mental disorders come into play. So, what our minds base their decisions on is not raw information. Meaning is actually our interpretation of this information. Every decision and feeling that arises in us, including sadness, grief, mental pain and happiness, occurs in this part of meaning. 2 key points in meaning. 1. How is meaning itself formed? Information must be complete in order for us to be able to create a correct meaning. If information is incomplete, we do not see the truth correctly and completely. So, gathering information and then making meaning is an important element in this process. 2. Interpreting meaning. There may be a certain meaning, but 2 people may interpret it completely differently. 1 positive and 1 negative. This depends on how they have learned to interpret meanings. 2 errors in the meaning process. 1. When a person does not examine the whole information and make meaning. 2. When the meaning is complete, but there is no correct interpretation of that meaning. The effect of rush and stress on meaning. When you are in a hurry or under pressure, you do not collect a lot of information and you build your own meaning with superficial information. Societies that are more relaxed, have a higher depth of thought and experience less stress are less likely to suffer from mental illness. Because they do not make mistakes at this stage and have a more correct understanding of the facts. The effect of hope and positive thinking. Ethnic communities or families that progress, have hope and see the positive points of meanings. In such societies, people are better able to cope with problems. Because in any case, we have to live and be more efficient. And certainly when we feel better about ourselves and the world, we also act better. Therapeutic approach in psychotherapy. We need to examine these 2 issues. 1. If the person's meaning is the result of incomplete information, we should ask him to start collecting more information with us and understand the problem better. 2. If the interpretation of meaning is flawed, we need to do something to correct it. For example, If the person sees the world as a negative, violent, or lonely place, we need to help them imagine a more balanced or beautiful world for themselves, so that they can live better. But the story of psychotherapy is not that simple. Because usually mental illnesses are the result of meanings that are formed without collecting and analyzing information by the individual himself. So the first step in such a situation should be to form the client's ego or independence, until all the stages of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting information are completed by the client himself, we cannot make any changes in our client. In another video clip, we will discuss how to form the client's ego and independence. In any case, when we observe that the person still has independence and ego, we must begin our work. Of course, we should not forget that this is a relative issue, meaning that no healthy person has a completely formed ego or independence, and it cannot be said that mental patients have no ego or independence. Here I will give an example of a client who has a formed ego or independence. I had a client who, due to the wrong decisions of his family and the lack of a suitable environment, always worked and had a difficult life since childhood, and did not have much time to collect information completely. Now he had become independent and still acted in the same way as before and made many mistakes. I told him that the situation had changed, and that you should use the correct method of collecting information, and that in order to have enough time, you should eliminate a series of unimportant activities, which after a while and a lot of practice yielded very good results. My second client, who had lost his father due to an accident, felt unsupported and alone like the rest of his family after 5 years. I changed his perspective on this incident and said that we are alone from the beginning of life to the end, and no one but ourselves can help us, and this is not bad at all because it is true and beautiful, and if we lose anyone we love or share things with, we can replace other people, and relationships are not just for family, and maybe the relationship we have with our friends is much better and deeper than the relationship with family. Conclusion: everything comes back to meaning. If we can understand meaning well and correct misinterpretations, great changes will happen in clients. Finally, I ask you to follow and subscribe to my channel, Kara Psychotherapy, and ring the bell to be notified of my future videos. Thank you very much. God bless.